Alright, so I should preface this prior. This is going to be dropped on Halloween, so for everyone, everyone, happy Halloween. For us though, it's just now in the past.
It's just a regular Tuesday.
It's just a regular Tuesday, you know? Could be whatever Tuesday you want. And we're here to talk about one of the most terrifying films I've ever seen, because this thing is a beast of a film. I only found out not long ago it was very divisive. So many people are very split on it, and I could see why, because it's not made like a generic slasher film.
It's certainly not a film for everybody.
No, because I think they work really well when they're really hard to sit through. Because I can't just throw this movie on and just watch it. I have to be in the mood for it.
Weirdo.
I can't do it, man. It's fucked up. You weirdo me.
Yeah, last night I fucking made popcorn, sat down, watched it.
I can't. I've got to. I've just got to be there or be ready for it. So the last time I watched it was a couple days ago, and I just happened to have all the lights off in the house, and it was really loud at midnight, so it kind of fucked me up again. You know, and I think it's because it's got this gritty documentary-like feel almost, that because, you know, the movie doesn't just cut away.
Because it starts with the, like, voiceover narration, and it's like, oh, this is, like, a documentation of real events.
Yeah. Which isn't true.
And then,
but, yep.
you know, it starts with the opening shot of, like, photos being taken of that thing, of, like, the effigy in the graveyard. And that, like... Oh yeah, we should preface full spoilers, by the way.
Full spoilers. Go watch it. It
is
special.
Like, if you like horror films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, you were saying the opening with the photos.
Like, how long? Like, once it actually shows, once it stops taking pictures, shows the body. How long it just lingers on that shot as it just like pulls away from it? It's like 30 seconds at least.
It's a very uncomfortable film. I love how the music score is nothing more than almost like just animal noises and that winding. I'm not sure what sound it is exactly, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's very industrial.
Yes. So one of my only gripes with it was that I would think that it could use a tad more character development, but I realized at the same time it would actually take away from this realistic documentary. Like, you know, I can care plenty about the woman by the end, just seeing the events she's going through.
Yeah, it's not like other slasher films give that much more character development. Like, you're not going to find better developed characters in Friday the 13th.
Nah. Yeah, I think it really works here, and I think with slasher films that have followed it, try to go with
the dehumanization of the main characters and the fact that they have basically no development also helps the film as an allegory for like meat slaughterhouses, which it is that. So like that, it works on that level too.
Yeah. But I remember the first time watching it, it was because of the movie's reputation. It made me know that something I was about to see was special and something a bit different. But yeah, I was not ready.
It's funny because was the first time you watched this like a week ago, or you'd seen it already?
I seen it, I think 2 years ago. That's when I first seen it. So I haven't had a whole...
I first watched it, like, I don't know, a few months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I haven't had, like, my whole life knowing this, and I'm kind of glad I haven't. I don't know how I would have handled this one as a kid. I can do Jaws, okay, but this is a horror movie.
You know, I couldn't even handle Jaws as a kid.
Yeah,
You made me sleep with the light on for, like, 4 years.
So... yeah, I knew what I was about to see was going to be something very special, but I didn't know how divisive people were towards it. Some people really hate this movie.
Yeah, no, it's banned. Like, it got banned in so many places when it first came out.
Yeah, I got heaps of that stuff in trivia time. But yeah,
Yeah, right.
it was banned like fuck.
Okay, so we'll just, start with the actual, like, the scenes from the movie we actually want to talk about. That we're going
yeah, so we got our hitchhiker.
Leatherface's reveal in this movie could not be fucking better. I
know.
love that scene. It's so good.
I know, well, especially if you've got like no context of anything up until this point.
That was also the first time the actor saw him.
Yeah, I know. How crazy was that?
Love that they showed the actors what Leatherface looked like until the scene with their characters.
Yeah, they didn't meet the actor, and then they didn't get to see him in full costume up until the shot. So it was their first shot and their last final shot with Leatherface. So
for most of them, yeah.
Most of them, yeah. I want to talk about the freezer, the chick in the freezer. That shot so powerful when what's his name?
When she's in the freezer.
Yeah. So the one
who cares about their name? She's the one. She's in a red tank top, right?
I don't know. So the freezer gets open and she's like asleep and like lunges out. I've watched this movie a bunch of times, but it was only the last time I seen it that just gave me chills. That fucked me up the most.
It gave you chills.
Pun not intended, but I'll take that. I'll wear that. Yeah, this movie's just got a way of, I guess, because it's that documentary like feel, and because it won't cut away. Like, if all of a sudden someone's being chased with a chainsaw or something, that
I just want to go back to the show where Leatherface is revealed. I just love it because that shot is just like Leatherface pops out, whacks the guy with his hammer, and then the guy's on the ground. Leatherface hits him again, just drags him off screen and closes the door. It's like 10 seconds long.
Yeah,
and that guy's done.
I know, it's just so concise and I love how it perfectly mirrors the what they were saying about the cows earlier in the van, like right at the start of the film, as like the body twitching and for a budget of $60,000, they did really, really, really well.
Oh yeah, no. I would have said the budget was way higher. This is the first time I heard what it actually was.
Yeah, it's fucking nothing. They could only afford one shirt for Leatherface, so he had to wear that one shirt for 4 weeks, and he couldn't wash it because of the type of makeup it had on it. So no one wanted to sit with him at lunch.
We will definitely talk about the dinner table scene.
Yes. Fuck, what an amazing scene. I feel like that's really inspired.
I also want to bring up the scene. I forget if it's after the third guy comes into the house or if it's after the lady comes in. But it's when Leatherface is like done in the kitchen, and it shows him just like sitting by the window, and he just looks so sad.
Yeah, it was well, he wanted to base a lot of his like portrayal off of people like proper illnesses, like as if he couldn't talk or was disabled.
Is not outwardly evil in this film. He's just like,
I like that he's just a person still. Like, he's got these weird fetishes, but he's freaking out that 2 people have come and he's had to kill them, and now how many more is there? What's going on?
It's also like his like fucked up family is making him do this.
Yes.
Like, without them, he probably wouldn't be doing anything like this. It's just,
I remember
they gotta win the chili cook-off.
I remember when so when the last chick, she gets all the way back to the gas station, I remember being so confused as to what the hell was going on when he, like, is he helping her or is he not? I kept thinking
and Leatherface doesn't go in there either.
Nah, I was thinking, like, is Leatherface gonna show up? And all of a sudden when he's gonna leave to turn the light off, the power bill would have killed me. I kept thinking, waiting for it. But
and then the guy walks back in with a massive bag.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Starts whacking her with a broom.
But yeah, that dinner scene is just something else. They were filming it in like 45-degree heat.
Yeah.
So, and because the shoots are so long, they were working 7 days a week, 16-hour days, because the shooting schedule was so tight, and they really were playing into their own insanity. So the actors were really hating each other. So when they're losing their minds, they really are losing their minds. It was very easy. But even like the harness that the first woman had hanging off the hook, her harness was actually really painful to wear. So they were all just feeding their pain or sickness into it.
Yeah. To be fair, that probably helped her act like it was very painful, because it probably would have been.
Yeah.
Like that's probably the one shot, like the one moment in the film where I'm like, ooh. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
That one's a bit... I was going to say that one's a bit much, but this movie is definitely a bit much.
I think
especially at the end when the final...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so... Tobe Hooper, the director, obviously... His goal was to, cut down as much as he could on the actual showing of the gore to try and get that lower rating, and it backfired because everything's implied, it makes it scarier. So
yeah.
You don't see her put on the hook, but you know what is happening, and holy shit. I love the dinner scene because that family feels authentic in a really twisted manner.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. This film is very strange.
Yeah, no, I think the Leatherface's family, they get a lot of good, I like their character development.
Yeah, I don't think they get enough praise as Leatherface, because you see the poster and you think, oh, it's just Leatherface, or there's...
Yeah, obviously Leatherface is top man here.
Very marketable.
But, I really like the... nobody wants to watch a movie with fucking that one guy who cooks the chili on the bus.
Oh, what do you mean? He steals the show.
Just can't take no pleasure in killing.
Yeah, see, he's a standout for me because he's got that same fucked upness, but he can, I guess, what's the word? He can work with the world still, if that makes sense. Yeah,
he has a facade that he puts on as this guy who makes chili in the gas station.
Yeah, because he's got a moral understanding of how the world works. You can't just kill and that's your life. He's got a job and he runs things and he's keeping this house in order, but he still is just so deeply entrenched in the fucked up nature of that. Yeah. Even because I love how out of everyone, the chick at the dinner table is trying to confide in him to please, you can make them stop. Yeah, but he is just as bad, even though he can pretend he's not. Yeah, because I think it just really enriches each character. They're not just what they are at face value. It's look what your brother did to the door. Yeah. There we go. We finally got a quote because I can't remember any. That I love. Almost every scene with that guy is great. Yeah. But this movie, more than anything, is just so powerful in the way it delivers everything, because and I touched on it earlier, that it doesn't cut away. There's no subplot with while she's being chased by the Leatherface with a chainsaw in the forest at night, that it's cutting away to a police station of how they're going to stop all this, and then back and forth, and because it never leaves. I don't even know about it. That's what I'm saying, because it doesn't ever try to have a subplot like that, and it's well, if you're going to get chased, it's not just we're going to cut away and you're going to be to wherever you are. We're going to treat it like real life. You've got to run, and you're going to run out of breath and energy, and then you've got to keep running. Funny, I
I can't remember if it was about this, or I think it was about this scene that I heard this fact. But Gunnar Hansen, the actor playing Leatherface, was running too fast in that scene because he was actually catching up to her.
Yeah, he was.
And so, like, realistically, if that scene happened in real life with those characters, she died in the cornfield.
Yeah.
Because Leatherface does not fuck around.
There's some shots where you can see where he's just cutting up branches like in the background while she's running.
Yeah.
But and obviously some of those are more in the nose than others, but yeah, because it just never cuts away. It's, for me, it's one of those slow burn films where it starts off and you could be just dreadfully bored out of your mind.
That's part of the reason why Leatherface's reel is so good, because it's just like that car's out of gas, because it was actually like an oil crisis going on at the time, so that's not as convenient a plot point as it sounds.
Yeah, right.
There's no, like, the gas station doesn't even have any gas. That was just a thing that was happening around the time.
Yeah.
Just that guy goes into the house to, ask them for gas. He breaks in. He just goes inside without asking permission, and then he's like walks into a corridor, and then Leatherface jumps out right in front of him, like immediately with no warning.
Yeah, I love how the film it doesn't jump scare you, but it startles you and just hits you with something out of nowhere.
I mean, that Leatherface's reel is probably the only. There's also when he comes out later and they're in the dark and there's the kid on the wheelchair.
Yeah.
That was also pretty good.
I love it because they don't feel like very cheap jump scares.
I think that's the only. Yeah, that's the only character in the film who's actually killed with a chainsaw.
Yeah, he is. So for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, only one person does die by a chainsaw. And
there is the scene in the kitchen where he's cutting up one of them with a chainsaw, which seems like an inefficient way to cut up meat.
I don't have enough experience with the chainsaw to say so. But
seems imprecise.
But the film starts off, where it feels just so almost like I can see why people really hate this film, because it's not structured like a movie. It's just, hey, here's this event, and now it's slowly building and building and building and building until you haven't even realized how bad it's gotten until it just cuts to black and that's it.
Yeah.
And then once it does, you realize how insane that all got from what you first saw. So that documentary like feel to it, because the start, the characters are it was so hard to invest myself in it all, and you do on your second viewing. But but that, and as I said, I'd like more character development, but it works for exactly what it's supposed to do. It almost doesn't need that, because that's what people are like. People aren't overly complex and interesting and gonna have specific conversations so that you know more about them and care about them, or talk about something in their past that changes who they are or whatever. You'd just be on the road.
It's
and
kind of
just
like the only character development you really get is stuff that makes me like them less.
Yeah.
Like, that kid in the wheelchair is really weird and creepy.
And it's so... for me, he's got the same prowess that Shelley Duvall had in The Shining, that you could almost give them a Razzie Award, but at the same time, it works.
Yeah.
I can buy into it. He's very believable as someone that's a little bit disabled and would just act a certain way, spitting his tongue and shit, trying to get in the house, or I don't know. It just works for me. But it all just adds and surmounts and builds, and obviously we get to the heights of the end of the film, and
where it just
descends
into chaotic misery.
Yeah, well, I love how it's like she wakes up, she's screaming, losing her mind. This film's just gone like completely mad. it calms down for a second.
You mean when she's attached to the armchair?
What's that type of parts?
You know which scene I'm talking about, right? I've always called it that.
Oh my god. Okay, I was gonna say how it's basically at this heightened level. It of screaming, and it drops down just to then swell right back up again.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the same feeling I get when it's like you're getting chased with a chainsaw and you're screaming like, okay, dragging on, and then it builds again. Like, it's okay, she's really screaming and getting chased, and we're seeing more horrifying stuff. You know, that you're screaming because, yeah, it's a movie and this is what would happen, and then you start screaming again because you're realizing how horrifying this is and where you are, and you cannot leave. Like, so you're
she
losing
tries.
it.
She fucking breaks Leatherface's window.
Yeah.
Actually, she jumps for a couple windows, doesn't she? Or is it only the one? I've misremembering.
2 actually.
Yeah, 2.
She really likes to break windows in that house.
The fuck?
Crazy. But yeah, I'm talking...
if you look at this movie from Leatherface's perspective, the only people he actually, goes after are Dally, the girl at the end, and the kid on the wheelchair. All of the others come into his house uninvited.
I mean, I would think that he's basically gone out there to get them just because he has to make sure he gets everybody.
Yeah. Because, the first 2 come in and he's like, oh, this a right fucking bother. Then the third one comes and he's like, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on here today? That's the scene where he then goes and sits down by the window and it has that shot of his face.
Yeah.
And he's like licking his weird teeth.
Yeah.
I love that scene. It's great.
I do. They're so small and they're...
It's like a prosthetic.
Yeah, he actually had his dentist help him make them. The little scenes like that, they add so much to it for me.
Yeah.
I know, I'm just getting so much from just tiny snippets in between that each time I watch it, I'm getting more.
Leatherface's costume changes in this movie, because he said he does wear the same shirt for most of it, but then he wears a suit.
He wears a suit at one point.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, he's got 3 masks, and the idea was that one was just the one he wore.
Yeah.
One was for being a motherly kitchen. I want to work in the
Mrs.
kitchen.
Doubtfire.
Yes. Yeah, and the third one was to be pretty and be presented at the dinner table or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all fucked up, but yeah. But I was just touching on the ending of the film before, when she's heightened again, she's screaming. The close-ups of the eyes.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention this too. It gets really fucking... I don't even know how they got that close to somebody's eye in such high detail in 1974.
Yeah, I think it's 74. Yeah, it was 74. It was a year before Jaws.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it either, but it was just... That's where this film just feels like this... I don't know.
Yeah.
This...
It's
blender just winding up.
Not your typical slasher film.
No, not at all. But I think
it's not even in the same league of films as Friday the 13th and stuff.
Yeah, well, see, that's where I think slasher films that have come after missed the point of the teens with no development. It's that...
Well, I wouldn't say they missed the point. It's just they weren't trying to do something as interesting as what Texas Chainsaw Massacre is. They were just made to be...
I thought it was more that they're not supposed to be just disposable, but it's supposed to be treated realistically. And that's why it was done.
It's not
like
these characters have been friends for years would be introducing themselves. And
that's where I think the other ones failed.
What their character traits are. And it's not even like everybody has something that defines them and you'd be like, yeah, I recognize very unique about this person.
I do also love that with that whole documentary feel that we don't have a main character. The woman we spend the most time with is mostly a background character. She could have just been any
until
one of them.
It's like she's just the only one who actually survives.
Yeah, it's not like a modern slasher where it's like, oh, here's backstory for this one woman and only her, because she's going to be the main character.
The entire fucking movie is just like, I'm about to talk about Halloween, but it starts with Laurie, the main character, and it's just her hanging out.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it makes sense in Halloween that she is the main character, because Michael takes an interest in her specifically.
Yeah.
Because she enters his house.
Yeah, well, that's what...
So it makes sense that she's, like, above the rest of the characters in terms of importance. But when there's, like, a final character in, like, Friday the 13th...
Yeah.
And it's very obvious which one of them it's going to be the whole time.
Yeah, well, that's where I think it just really works in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
In Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if the film ended with her just, like, dying at any point, it would still... I'd be like, able to be like, yeah, that's how that... Like, I'm comfortable with how that film ended. I don't feel dissatisfied that nobody survived. It's like, if she died at the end, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. That's probably what would have happened.
Yeah, I really like the ending, that it's like, okay, this madness is over. That's why we've been following these teens specifically and not just anyone else that got killed along the way. That's because this is how it was supposed to end.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say the madness is over, because she will never fucking recover psychologically from the shit that she saw and went through.
Long story short, don't pick up hitchhikers.
Yeah, basically.
And don't trespass on people's property.
Picking up the hitchhiker didn't really lead to that. Like, that wasn't... It just happened to be somebody in Leatherface's family, but they just kicked him out when he started slashing at them with a knife.
What do you mean, he's slashing himself?
No, he cuts wheelchair kid's arm.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, we might just slide right through to trivia time, because there's some really cool stuff here too.
I just want to talk about the fucking amazing shot of Leatherface at the end where he's just swinging his chainsaw around.
Oh, fuck me, it's good. That's so good.
Like, even if you haven't seen the movie, you've probably seen that shot.
I mean, we watched American Psycho, so where we seen him on his TV.
Actually, yeah, that is that scene, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I don't know what to really say about it other than it's beautiful. I got something funny on it. It
has like the sun rising in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually weird because it's like proper daylight when she breaks through the window and starts getting down the driveway. But I suppose it's supposed to be very early dawn, but like it hasn't got that orange haze.
I mean, because yeah, actually, that is kind of odd. I mean, it might just be because they're in a different area.
It might just be because, they had $60,000. So yeah. I'm not gonna...
I mean, I'm not gonna complain about it considering how fucking good that looks.
So, we'll go to trivia time. Trivia time sound effect that we still haven't heard yet.
I still have no clue what it is. Could be literally anything.
Could be anything. So, according to John Larroquette, who did the narration for the start of the film, his payment for doing the opening narration was just a marijuana joint. That was it.
Actual?
Yeah, actual. That was his payment. I'll give you a joint if you read this out for me. Alright, no one could have expected the horror of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. He probably had the easiest role on the fucking movie.
Yeah. So, okay, so it's Marilyn Burns who plays the woman at the end. When she was chased by Leatherface through the undergrowth, she actually cut herself on the branches quite badly, so a lot of the blood on her body and clothes was actually real. So that was also there. When it was first released, the film was so horrifying that people walked out on sneak previews for it. So people just couldn't, even if it was a preview before the movie they came to see, they just couldn't take it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. It says the soundtrack contained no sounds from musical instruments, with the exception of some copyrighted music. Instead, they used animal slaughterhouse sounds and shit for a lot of it. And yeah, we touched on it briefly, how the rating for the film and how it's banned everywhere. So when he originally went to the people you go to like give ratings or whatever, I can't remember their name for the life of me.
The ESRB?
No, that's video games.
Uh,
I think it's the MPAA or something. But basically it's like, here's my film, I'm going for a PG rating, and they said X. No one can watch this. And it was like, okay.
I did not know how he expected that to get a PG-13.
Well, he wanted PG, and that's when this movie was bad. Like, way worse, apparently. So, he went, okay, I'll just cut it down. Went back, still got an X rating. Tried to cut it down again and really cut out almost everything. So, the one chainsaw you kill, you can't really see it.
Yeah, it shows him from behind.
The chick being put up on the hook, it seems kind of jarring the way it's edited, because all of a sudden because apparently that was all shown in full and it was much worse. So it's like, alright, can this be PG now? Because I want a PG rating. And they're like, we'll give you an R. That's the best we can do.
I fucking love, like, I love the idea that these fucking ratings guys are just like hot, like they're fucking horrified by the film they've just watched, and then he's like, okay, PG-13.
I know. It'd be pretty funny. I think by the end he got sick of it and just needed the thing released, so it was just like, there we go. But so the director, Tobe Hooper, he claims to have gotten the idea for the film while standing in the hardware section of a crowded store while Christmas shopping. While thinking of a way to get through the crowd, he spotted the chainsaws. The rest was history.
And it's kind of funny because that would be a Chainsaw Massacre if he just started fucking killing people like that. But that's not at all what happens in the film. Really, just the idea of killing people with a chainsaw, which isn't really what happens either.
Yeah. So
Texas
Sledgehammer Massacre. Due to the low budget, I mentioned this earlier, that Gunnar Hansen had only one shirt to wear as Leatherface. The shirt had been dyed, so it could not be washed, and Hansen had to wear it for 4 straight weeks of filming in the hot and humid Texas summer. By the end of the shoot, no one wanted to stand near Hansen or sit next to him during breaks to eat lunch because his clothing smelled so bad. So, according to Edward Neal, so the hit guy, Noblin's, or the Hitchhiker star, Texas state troopers actually shook his hand and thanked him for causing crime to drop 18%. Apparently, the message audiences took away from the movie was, don't pick up hitchhikers. So they actually, it worked.
That is amazing. Yeah. Also, that actor, I'm pretty sure he's the one. He served in Vietnam before filming the movie.
Yeah.
And he said that he would rather go back to Vietnam than reshoot the dinner scene in the film.
Yeah.
And I presume we should explain why that was so bad.
Man, I can't imagine what it was like to film this thing.
Yeah, how long it took to get the dinner scene is it's up in the air. You might have what it actually is, but I've heard different accounts of how long it actually took.
Yeah, well, everything I've got
24 and 36 hours, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And basically, that it's the chick who survives at the end, the two Leatherface's brother and Leatherface, and the fucking granddad. He's also there.
Oh yeah,
people.
It was because
he's
of
the best at killing.
It was because of him that the shoot took as long as it did, because he basically got in this makeup. It took like 20 hours to put on or some shit. And it was like, I'm never doing that again. We're doing it all right now. So everyone, by the time it got to daylight,
good makeup though.
well, the time it got to daylight the next day, they had to black out the curtains and whatnot. And because blacked out curtains and the sun was already that hot, it got even hotter. And then you had the real rotting corpses in there and shit. It was just fucking unbelievable.
Well, I mean, it's real rotting meat, not human corpses.
No,
like
but
that
I mean,
would
like,
apply.
real bones and skeletons and, like, it just...
I mean, yeah, those are... They actually... All the bones, the human bones are real, because it's cheaper to buy
yeah.
real human bones than fucking
Yeah.
fake ones.
But the company worked 7 days a week, 16 hours a day in the summertime of one of Texas's notoriously brutal heat waves, where the daytime temperature was over 100 degrees, which I'm pretty sure is American. I'm not sure what that translates to.
I mean, if that was 100 degrees Celsius, then everybody would have fucking died.
Everyone would be dead.
There would be no party in Texas.
So...
Because that's the temperature that boils water.
I know. So... I've got all sorts of things on different countries and how this film was banned. The film was originally banned in Finland, and it was just flat out banned. You couldn't see it. But after 25 years, it was finally released from where its original release date was.
That would have been 99, yeah.
Yeah, around there. The film was rejected by the British film censors a year after it came out. And then they were trying to get a limited release, and as soon as they were trying to do that, it was banned again in 1977. The censors tried to cut it down so that maybe they could, try and show it somewhere, but then it was banned again in 1984 due to the growing controversy involving video nasties. In 1999, after the censors finally changed their policy, they took a plunge and passed it. But it would have been 25 years since they first banned it. So yeah, this thing is... They don't want you to see it. The movie wasn't released in Australia or New Zealand until the early 1980s. It was only released in a Super 8 format in New Zealand until the mid-90s. So we weren't allowed to see it up until 6 years after it had come out anyway. The film... So, obviously they have, like... censors and it's not allowed in certain countries, but this film actually had troubles with laws in certain countries that you weren't allowed to show or do very specific things. So it had a long and troubled relationship with German law. Yeah, all the copies were confiscated, VHS ones. The film was considered illegal if you had the film. That's how bad it was. So if you're not sold on it yet, please.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is really funny. So there were working titles for the film before release, obviously. They, work around it. One was called Stalking Leatherface. I was like, okay, it doesn't really make sense, but I can see you put Leatherface in the title. But the other one was called Head Cheese.
What?
Head cheese.
What?
Head cheese.
Can you explain what the fuck? Why?
I don't know.
Why that?
It's just listed that working titles for the film were Stalking Leatherface and Head Cheese. Dude, have you seen Head Cheese? That shit fucked me up, man. Why would you call it Head Cheese? Imagine that he became known as Head Cheese instead of Leatherface.
I don't think they ever... I was wondering where the name Leatherface actually came from, because I don't remember them ever saying, "Oh, there's Mr. Leatherface."
I don't know.
At least not the first one.
Yeah.
But I guess that means that they always had the name Leatherface for him.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I wanted to I thought of this earlier, but I wanted to mention now. I really hated how horror movies in the 1970s and 80s look so much better than horror movies these days.
yeah, I think it's just partially because of the technology that was impairing them at the time. It actually adds to that, like what we mentioned with Fight
They were
Club.
always using practical effects, The Thing. that's fucking great. I assume you've seen
Oh
the thing.
yeah, we're talking about practical
Like,
effects. We'll have to get to that one day.
and like the first Child's Play movie, the animatronics for Chucky are really good.
Yeah.
And first Nightmare on Elm Street, some of the practical effects there are great.
Yeah.
And then these days it's all CGI. Like
Yo.
the Thing remake, fuck off. I hate. Have you seen the Thing remake?
No.
Oh my god, that is a fucking movie we should talk about someday.
Yeah, well, I think because a lot of the technology wasn't there and it limited on what they could do, they had to get creative. I mean, even like Jaws, make Jaws today, it's not what it was there with actually having a shark there. But yeah, I was just talking about how a couple of weeks ago or whatever, we talked about Fight Club and how that deliberate graininess that gives that film a dirtier look, and because the cameras weren't as good. I think in a decade's time, a lot of people are actually going to go back and try to really replicate those looks to get certain types of horror movie feels. Because I think it's the only place to go after the whole reboot sequel phase dies. Because fucking Jesus Christ. I mean, they'll always be around, but instead of let's reboot Halloween every 5 years and try and do it again, or even with this series now.
Oh yeah, Texas. It's getting another reboot you mentioned last week.
Yeah, we looked at the poster only last week. So
we should have done that this week. I feel like it would have been more appropriate.
Oh, I was just keeping with the news and with the times.
That's fair.
But yeah, it was because of this movie. This movie inspired Ridley Scott to make the original Alien. Some people have even called Alien a Texas Chainsaw Massacre in space.
Huh. I mean, it's not really. But
yeah.
I can't believe I didn't mention that when it comes. That one, that's fucking. Oh my god, the practical effects in that movie are amazing.
It's very, very good.
Keyword is practical effects are good most of the time.
Most of the time. So CGI should only be there to enhance what you've already got. Not to just lazily cut your way around everything.
Yeah, the Chucky remake that came out not long ago actually has some pretty good CGI in it. Because it's in like the practical effects of the doll are enhanced with CGI. Yeah, there's some things you can get with practical effects.
For me, I always look at like the difference between Iron Man's suit in Iron Man 1 compared to it is in Endgame. Or even in Civil War at the airport scene where it feels so disconnected from his head. Shit like that I shouldn't notice, but I do.
Yeah.
But where it feels more tangible and physical, that it's some parts, obviously are CGI, but because they don't rely on that and they have the actual models still and use them, it's more believable. I mean, it's not really a great analogy to like talk about realism with the MCU and Thanos.
I've heard a quote or something along the lines of CGI is kind of like a bathroom janitor. You should never think about it, but you always notice when it's done poorly.
Yes. Yeah. That's actually really good. But we'll get back on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Which has no CGI because computers hadn't been invented yet.
But during the dinner scene towards the end of the film, where Leatherface cuts Sully's finger, you might already know about all this.
I know, I love this.
So yeah, because of the scorching temperatures, the blood that was supposed to shoot out of the tube around near her finger or whatever to make it bleed, because it was so hot, basically because it's like cornstarch and shit, it basically went like rock hard. It wouldn't go through the tube, and they got sick of trying to do this shot over and over and over. That
before you keep going with this, I want to mention when the guy in the wheelchair dies, the blood that sprays up. I think it's Tobe Hooper and someone else. I don't know who the second person is. They were sitting next to him, spitting it out of their mouths.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, shit. Yeah, well, well, because back to the Tennessee, because they were getting so sick of doing the shot over and over, that they took the sheen off the knife, or...
Well, no, it was actually Gunnar Hansen who did that, and he didn't tell anyone else that he was doing it.
No, he didn't, and then, grabbed her finger and cut it for real, so when she's screaming, she's really screaming, and her blood really was fed to the old man. So...
And then, that old man busts a move. He's pretty good at dancing. I'll give him that. How I dance.
So, the iconic scene where Leatherface is swinging his chainsaw in frustration because Sally gets away. Hansen was directed to look frustrated, and he knew stomping his
would just look silly.
Well, he was supposed to just be like stomping his feet or whatever, and he knew stomping his feet in anger would not suffice. So he changed it to swinging his chainsaw because he wanted to scare the director as payback for the way he treated the cast during filming. So he was really going off. Now this next one I want to talk about, this next shot. This is really, really effective in the film. Really effective. And that's because it was half legit. That didn't
narrow it down at all.
The close-up of Leatherface cutting his leg on the chainsaw.
Oh, I was thinking of this scene too. That scene, it like the way he like grabs his leg, it makes me feel so bad for him.
So the reason it's so effective is it's half legitimate.
Yeah, so... because I believe the way they did it was he had like a metal plate on it, and they had like meat on it. Then when he cuts through his pant leg, it's actually real.
Yeah, so
and it cuts into the meat on the metal plate, which apparently heated up very quickly because it had an active chainsaw sitting on it.
Yes, so went through the pants, obviously, through the meat.
Arguably better than cutting through your leg.
But yeah, the metal plate, the scream of pain was genuine because the chain repeatedly hitting the plate, the friction caused the plate to get hot, and it burned his leg bad. Because, you know, chainsaw. Why didn't they think it? I'm not sure how else to do it, but yeah, it feels very, very genuine.
You know, I can't think of a different way they could have done that. But, you know, he like the way he grabs his leg afterwards probably also would have been just a genuine reaction of pain. But it really adds to Leatherface's kind of sympathetic nature in the film. He's not like... Because nobody ever sympathizes with Freddy Krueger or Jason or anything. They kill by nature, but Leatherface, like I mentioned earlier, you don't really get the sense that he enjoys killing that much. It's just something he does.
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant, and you know you can go on like forever and over.
The hitchhiker is like he very clearly relishes in it, and then the cook doesn't do it at all. And then Leatherface is in the middle.
Yeah, but this is another film that feels like American Psycho or The Shining, where everything feels so deliberate and thought out that nothing seems like a flaw.
But that's probably not true in this one.
probably not. But because...
I mean, yeah, there were given the difficulties with shooting, I feel like a lot of the stuff that we got was not actually planned, like what they had planned.
Yeah, for me, it's like Jaws. You know, like, obviously they wanted to do things a certain way and they wanted it to look better. Like Steven Spielberg will watch it and pick it apart.
Movie and make it, because it's gonna be a bitch to shoot.
Yeah, that's right. But because of the way and limitations they had, that's what made so many shots so special. And I feel like it's the same here, that because of the conditions they were under, it's almost just as fucked up the making of the film as well as the film itself.
Yeah.
So everything's just in such a genuine and weird and out there way, from the direction of like a documentary almost. Or, that kind of feel that everything's real, down to just the bizarreness and the abrupt ending. It just feels concise, and it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to almost bore you at the start and then just slowly get to this high point, with the limitations they had, $60,000, but the point that they wanted to make got across, definitely. So I think it's
not like
smashing success.
Horror movies these days, where they always have like bit at the start where the main villain gets a couple kills.
Yeah.
Actually, talking about like the openings of films, the opening scene of Scream, that is great.
Oh, it's brilliant. That
That opening scene, because we might never talk about Scream, but I want to talk about how much I love this. Scream is great, the first one.
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, it really redefined the slasher for the modern age.
Yeah.
But obviously, that itself became a parody of itself, having like 5 sequels. So, I just.
But that opening shot works. That could just be a short horror film.
Oh yeah.
It's just like 5 minutes, has its own slow build up and character development.
Yeah.
But that's completely unrelated to what we're talking about now. I was actually making a point that it's that Texas Chainsaw Massacre starts out in not at all a similar way. I mean, the way it starts out is like I mentioned earlier, with the really uncomfortable long shot of those bodies in the graveyard.
Yeah, and I think without that it really would have been hard to grab onto the kids at the start and whatnot and stick with it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because those bodies in the graveyard. I mean, I guess you're supposed to assume that it's like Leatherface and them doing that. But it's not really like what they do at all.
No, it's just a weird time, a weird place.
That's not how they get their bodies for eating, because there's all the abandoned cars outside of the house, and you're obviously like, oh yeah, that's a lot of fucking people that they've killed here.
Yeah, so I love, that's again one of those very small, subtle things they didn't have to do, but it really adds to everything. With $60,000 budget, to have a bunch of cars there to imply that, once they kill people, they take the cars and hide them.
Yeah.
So there's no...
Because obviously, if a bunch of abandoned cars are turning up on this road, like, a kilometer away from their house, and that there probably aren't that many houses in the area.
But
they obviously have been doing this for a long time. They know that they have to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, well, it's just a very special film. It's unique. There's nothing like this one. Not in my eyes. I haven't seen anything like this. And it's one of very few...
None of the others are...
It's one of few horror films that I consider horror. This is scary. I can watch The Shining, and it's more... I don't know.
Yeah,
The Shining
there's nothing in The Shining that's really that scary. Despite what my mom claims.
Well, The Shining... I love The Shining, and it's a better made film, and I can watch that a billion times. And, I get the suspense out of it, the mystery of it all. I really love and take all that in.
The Shining is a really good film.
But this is one of few horror movies that I consider The Shining more of a thriller type of thing, where this one's more horror. This is just straight. This is terrifying. Just the amalgamation of horror and terror, because it's just that brutal screaming, and it's something horrifying. You don't want to see something that bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like the scariest film I've ever seen, but it's definitely up there. I mean, there's not much I can put against this thing.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot bad you can say about it, really.
Yeah, well, that's where everything feels intentional. How there isn't...
Even if it wasn't.
Even if it wasn't, it's got that feeling. So for me, it's another one of those very flawless films.
Yeah, and it obviously just all feels so real.
Yeah, but obviously no film is flawless. It just has that feeling of...
Yeah, not even The Shining or American Psycho. They definitely have their own flaws.
Yeah. But I love them, and that they just feel right.
Like that scene where it shows what Jack's been typing, they accidentally put in a bunch of nonsense instead of an actual script.
Yeah.
Which is a weird mistake for them to miss.
Oh, yeah.
I really wanted to see what he was writing the whole time. It was probably a really interesting story.
Yeah.
Actually, Oh no, that's in the It's in the book where he actually did write something, and then Danny like publishes it.
Yeah.
After. Have you seen Doctor Sleep, by the way? Because I never watched it.
I have seen Doctor Sleep. It is very, 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 very good. I was very fucking blown away by that film, because that is one of those films that feels like the only way you could have done a sequel to The Shining. It's fucking...
It's a sequel to the movie, not the book, right? Like the Stanley Kubrick one. It's a sequel to that, isn't it?
No, it's a sequel to the movie. It's a sequel to the movie.
Okay.
It basically, like, you think, okay, it's telling its own thing, it's called Doctor Sleep, whatever, but it basically starts with Danny and, you know, whatnot, sitting on the couch at home after everything.
I heard about this fact the other day. Apparently, the actor who played Danny was promised that he could keep the tricycle, and to this day, he still hasn't got it.
Oh, oh fuck, that's funny. But Doctor Sleep is very good. It feels like The Shining in the way that it does its own horror and weird things, and very happy with that film.
I might check it out sometime if it's really good. I didn't really think it would be that great.
Yeah,
just, you know,
it's
can't top The Shining.
It's not trying to be The Shining. It's doing its own thing, like it.
Well, that's good.
Book itself
Because
does.
if it was trying to be The Shining, why watch that instead of The Shining, right?
Yeah, I know. So it's doing its own thing with that same eerie, weird editing kind of feel as The Shining does.
Speaking of
and then at the end,
movies,
it just crams in fan service, man. It's a good feeling.
Speaking of horror movies that are based on Stephen King books, I watched The Mist not long ago. Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't. But you need to watch
Mist?
Sleepwalkers.
Oh yeah, Sleepwalkers. The Mist is really, really good.
Yeah?
I really enjoyed it, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
that's
right.
that's a pretty good horror movie. I think it was made in, like, 2009-ish?
Yeah.
Maybe 2007, I think. But yeah, if you haven't seen The Mist, I really recommend it.
Yeah, alright. I might check it out. It's the season.
It is. I mean, it's about to not be when people are watching this. It's not anymore.
So we're gonna delve a bit into some movie news because I've got some more.
Yeah, we've already kind of drifted away from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Was there anything else you had to say about it?
Not really. Other than if you've never watched it, give it a go and stick with it. But be prepared to see something really fucked up.
You know, we can't. There's no way we can really describe the
feeling.
The last quarter of this film.
Yeah, but it's brilliant. It's effective. But yes, into some movie news. Tobey Maguire said he is not coming back to do Spider-Man, which part of me has a bit of relief for, because I really don't want it to be. He's jumped in Spider-Man 3, and then the guy who's made Homecoming and Far From Home is behind whatever's happening, and maybe making his Spidey shine over others, and like you don't damage that character then.
Yeah.
The only thing I would have liked to have seen was in Doctor Strange 2: The Multiverse of Madness, because Sam Raimi's behind it, to maybe have a point where he basically just jumps into that universe for like 5 minutes and meets Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man as well before leaving. And because Sam's behind it, he'd do it, right?
Yeah.
And that way that joke in Spider-Man 2 works. You know, Doctor Strange, it's good, but it's taken. That maybe, you know, because of that, it would be really cool. It would be really cool. But yes, Tobey is not coming back. Part of me is disappointed, but the other part of me is happy that it's not going to be tarnished or changed in any way. However, Sony to talk about doing like spin-offs and continuations like Spider-Man 4 or The Amazing Spider-Man 3, because we're now getting so many diverse comic book films and trying to do things like that, but we'll wait and see for all that. Borat had a sequel. yes, I haven't seen it, but apparently the film is far more wholesome than it is shocking. I'm not sure how good it is. I have not seen the first one in a long time. But
The first one definitely has a certain style of humor that doesn't appeal to me that much.
yeah, yeah, well, I can't remember too much of the first one, but its sequel has just come out. We finally,
I much prefer the type of humor that's in like American Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is kind of funny. There are some scenes that are kind of funny, like when the old guy keeps dropping the hammer.
yeah, yeah, it's
And Leatherface is picking it up and putting it. Leatherface is basically doing it for him.
yeah. So I don't know how much of this you've seen, but the Uncharted movie has been
I haven't heard about this.
development hell for like 15 years type of thing, changing actors, and they finally got an actor, and we finally got a set photo, and I have issues with it because he's I don't know. Yeah, I'll send you the photo right now. Your boy Tommy is Drake, and he's way too young. That's
Oh my
issue.
god, it's Tom Holland?
Yeah, Tommy's doing it.
I never would have imagined it to be Tom Holland.
I know, they had an actor that was really good and was gonna work for it, but they ended up it didn't end up working. But they got Tom Holland onto it, and he's just too young. They've done what they can with the set image that we've finally seen, but it just
He
looks
looks
like he's 10 years too young. 20 years.
He looks like Poe in fucking Rise of Skywalker.
Oh no. Alright, we'll move on from that then. But yeah, a lot of people
I still find it funny. Because that would have been, I think that was in our first podcast we were talking about that movie. But when I mentioned that Poe looks exactly like Nathan Drake from Uncharted 3.
Yeah, that was so good. But yeah, the Uncharted movie is going to have an obvious problem. That he's 20 years too young. But moving on.
Isn't he actually like a fair bit older than he looks? He's in like his 20s, I think.
Yeah. So,
it's not like he is too young, he just looks too young.
Yeah. Good for Spidey, but not for Uncharted.
I mean, I'd argue he isn't that good for Spidey, but that's its own... I mean, it's not the actor's fault.
So, this has me beyond happy and excited because the Fast and Furious is
brilliant.
ending after the next 3 movies. So
how many are they on now? They're on like 9, aren't they?
Yeah, 9 was supposed to come out this summer with John Cena as Dom's brother. Oh, have you seen the trailer to that film?
No, I don't watch movie trailers.
Okay, well you've got to see this one. It's absolutely amazing. This could almost be funny movie of the week right here.
Is it better or worse than than the footage of that game you showed me long ago? The Fast and Furious one.
Oh,
I think it was Fast and Furious game.
Alright, so hopefully this is the right trailer. We'll give it a whirl.
Just the thumbnail looks amazing.
Oh yeah, alright. Let's give it a go. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, just give me a second, I'm getting ads.
You're gonna love this shit.
Alright, I'm ready to go.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
What are these movies even about?
Family, man. It's all about family. Man, this would be crazy. Letty's died. Then she's come back but had amnesia. And she's part of the family again. Dom was evil in the last one. Dude, you're in for a hell of a show watching this. So, you're not ready, man.
I thought these movies were about like illegal street racing.
Oh, like the first three were. Ooh, Cena, man. They don't look like brothers, but it's John Cena.
Yeah.
But yeah, you watch. Look at the super. Tom can take on 20 blokes. It's amazing. Ooh. Look, they're jumping out of buildings.
Looks impressive.
They're jumping out of buildings, landing on buses. Look at this. They're flying off like bridges like they're superhuman. They're gonna die if they hit the road. It's unreal. I love it, dude. It's a superhero franchise in my eyes. Oh man, the modern action movie is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
But this trailer gets better, man. I mean, it just keeps fucking going.
Is that a Pontiac Fiero strapped to a rocket engine?
These military trucks. It's family.
Fucking hell, this is the Dark Knight.
Yeah, look at the bridge they're driving up. Physics are out the window, man.
This movie looks fucking great.
Are you ready?
Oh, fuck yes!
Yeah!
Damn it, I thought the car was gonna land on top of the plane.
Oh, hey, they're not done till they swing like Spidey, man.
Oh, God.
Because Dom planned this. Look at how calm they are. It's a normal Wednesday for them. Oh, yeah! The fast
Can you
saga.
imagine if after that swing he just crashes into the cliff face?
Oh. Oh my god. It's brilliant. Family Man. Cannot wait. It was supposed to come out this summer, but, you know, we've missed all
Obviously
that,
not, yeah.
which has been sad. But we do have an actual funny movie of the week, which we can roll right into.
Oh, yeah.
Which...
That was the awesome movie of the week. Actually, no, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the awesome movie of the week, because that is an awesome movie.
It is. So, you might have seen this already, but nonetheless, for the people that haven't, they need to see this.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen the
So
trailer?
I haven't watched the trailer, but I have watched it.
Oh my god, you've watched it!
Yeah. I watch these bad movies, they're great. It's good fun.
So, we are watching The Amazing Bulk.
This one, because I know, Birdemic was made... Just give me while it's buffering. But Birdemic was made as, a film about environmental consciousness.
Yeah.
How you shouldn't hurt the environment. And it's a series, the director thought that it was, a masterpiece. I believe he's quoted as saying it's a $10,000 movie, but it looks like $100 million.
Oh, that's awesome. See, I don't know shit. I just know these trailers, finding these movies.
But I think The Amazing Bulk was made as a joke.
I don't know. I mean, I look at it like someone just really loves the Hulk and they wanted to make that without ripping it off.
Like Neil Breen also, his films are masterpieces. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know,
we won't talk about them.
Which one did we watch? We watched fucking. Was it Fateful Findings?
It might have been.
Because Fateful Findings is his most well-known one. Or just, it might have. I think the one we watched. I think it was Double. Was it Double Down?
I don't know.
Because Double Down was the first one he made.
I remember it being good.
All of them are good.
Oh yeah.
The fucking description for. Actually, did we watch more than? I think we did watch 2 of them.
I think so.
Yeah, because I just like clicked on the thing for Fateful Findings, and the description of the film is: a boy develops mystical powers and uses them as an adult to hack government databases. And I love that Neil Breen is described as a boy.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
It's Fateful Findings is the one. I can't believe you would kill yourself. Or whatever he said in that scene. And I'm pretty sure we watched the film that has that one. That's
pretty
Fateful
sure.
Findings.
Anyway, we'll watch The Amazing Bulk because it's.
Oh yeah, that.
I can't get through this thing without.
We should watch more Neil Breen films though, because there's still a few we haven't watched, like I Am Here Now and Twisted Pair. Twisted Pair is Neil Breen playing himself and his evil twin.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Alright, but yeah.
Alright, we'll get through it. The Amazing Bulk.
I'm ready to go.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Nice font.
These are showing up very quickly.
Ooh.
This whole crime scene is one big mystery now.
There was a double homicide last night. Where'd you find it? Better question is, how'd you lose it? We were at the amusement park on the subway. Guy popped out of nowhere on this gunpoint. I think our Henry, General Godwin, has been more than gracious with our setbacks. I'm not sure we will be for very much longer.
The government will stop funding this project unless you start showing some goddamn results. Step aside. There is a madman by the name Dr. Kemp. We believe he is sending a rocket to the moon with plans to blow it up.
We're gonna have to take it down to the station.
It's not what it looks like.
What the hell is that?
Well, it ain't Barney the purple dinosaur.
Oh, fuck me.
Now I shall eliminate you.
I mean, to be fair, if you got a green screen, you're gonna use it.
Yeah, man, this is like. It's better than what I can do.
Look out! It was an accident. Experiment gone.
Love how it's showing like all of the pivotal moments of the film.
I mean, I know Edward Norton's hair grows when he becomes the Hulk, but this guy's hair is long as and Bulk's got nothing, man. Like, anywhere.
In the recommended, Kung Fury's come up.
Mine, hey, I've got Kung Fury in my recommended too, eh?
Maybe we should just watch that now. Fuck the podcast.
That is a brilliant movie. A podcast could go all onto that.
Amazing. Yeah. If you haven't seen Kung Fury, that's like, it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's about
please.
half an hour long.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
on YouTube. It's free. By Laser Unicorns. It is brilliant. It's, yeah, and about half an hour long. A little bit over.
It feels like after you watched it, you were like, all that was in just half an hour? Like, that movie has so much in it.
It goes so quickly, that film. It feels like
Yeah.
you've been watching for maybe 10 minutes.
And then, yeah. But,
Triceratops.
like, looking...
It's brilliant.
You're in the Viking Age.
The Viking Age.
That explains the laser raptors.
Yeah, go watch that too. That's great. But otherwise, is there any Halloween recommendations we could Halloween movies we could recommend since it is Halloween night? I mean,
I
probably a
don't
bit late.
recommend many of the Halloween movies.
No, but obviously the Texas
That's
Chainsaw
one.
Massacre. If you really want to scare the shit out of yourself, have a proper scare. Otherwise,
Yeah.
there are other slasher ones that are a bit more fun. The Shining is
mean-
always very great.
Yeah, most of the time, the first and second films in a horror series are the good ones. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, most of the Friday the 13th movies are pretty good, especially Jason X.
oh yeah, man, the 10th one, fucking brilliant. Um,
Have you seen Jason X?
I have not sat down and watched it, but I know what it is, and it is something to behold.
So fucking good. I love it because
I'll have to get onto it.
obviously the premise of Jason X is so ridiculous. Like, it doesn't take itself seriously, because how the fuck could anyone take it seriously?
Oh, I know.
It just has a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, first one,
Yep.
that was really good. Second one's not bad. And Friday the 13th, those were all pretty good movies. And we were actually going to talk about Friday the 13th next, weren't we? Because there is a Friday the 13th in November.
Well, the one we missed out on this month was Saw. That's what we were going to talk
Yes,
about.
we did miss out on Saw. Yeah.
So I recommend
also
Saw
gonna-
as well. That's
We're also going to do another movie, but then October came up on us, so we decided to do horror movies instead of that one.
It came very quickly. Jaws is great, but I don't really even consider it a horror. It's more an adventure, thriller, comedy, romance, horror, fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's just... That's why I think Jaws is the best movie ever made. It's what you go to the cinema to see. It invented the term blockbuster. It's,
Yeah.
that is the theater experience. So, because of that lasting impact, I really think it is one of the best. Otherwise, horror movie wise, yes, Saw, because we didn't get to talk
The
about
first
it.
one is very good, yeah.
First one's great. Doctor Sleep, very good as well, so I recommend you check that out.
Yeah.
Monster House is always good around Halloween.
Monster House is great.
Alien.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep. The
That's a Christmas
terrifying
movie.
and bone-chilling Scooby-Doo movie. Also-
If you mean the live action one, then that is terrifying
Yes.
and bone chilling. Have you
Yes.
seen that early 2000s CGI?
Oh yeah, I've seen 1 and 2. It's they were written by James Gunn, director of
know
Guardians
that.
of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah,
Scream's good. if
I
you
know a
look
chick
for
that's
horror.
going to a Halloween party coming up. Or well, it'll be tonight when this podcast is up. And she said, "Oh, I'm going as Slutty Velma for Halloween," and it's like, well, actually, it's a very accurate representation of Velma if you're comparing it to the films, because they've
Is
got
that
like sexy Velma in the second one. She's like wrapped in latex and shit.
Oh yeah.
So actually, it's quite accurate. The first Scream, obviously, that's a
Yeah.
good one to recommend. I like
I
watching.
was actually going to bring that up because I'm pretty sure the guy who plays Stu in Scream actually also played Shaggy in the live
He
action.
did too. See,
Yeah,
great.
Matthew
We're putting bridges between the stuff. I
Oh my
also
God,
like to
first
watch.
Scream is so good. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Like, obviously, I mentioned the opening scene of it earlier, which is just a masterpiece of
Yeah.
like horror.
But
But it's really good.
The Thing for its practical effects, brilliant.
Yes.
Uh,
The scene in The Thing where the guy's chest opens up,
oh,
my
fuck,
God.
that was crazy cool.
that effect looks so good.
I also like to watch Zombieland this time of year. It's a bit more of a comedy horror, but nonetheless, I like watching it.
Sequel of that came out not long ago, didn't it?
It did too. I seen it. It was. I don't know how I feel about it.
Hold
It's
up
one
to
of
the
those
first
sequels.
one. Not as
It's-
good, better.
It's good. I had a great time watching it, but it's one of those things where I've watched it once and that's probably it. It's not that feeling that the first one was.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
I don't
That
know, it
makes
felt
sense.
like it went a little bit too far in its believability and over the topness, but it was very good. I don't know how to explain that type of movie. The sequels like it. I'm not sure how to. I don't know, but I like watching the original Zombieland. I don't know if I'd put Ghostbusters in that category of Halloween films.
Ghostbusters not really a scary movie.
No.
It's a comedy.
Coraline sure is though. That's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned Alien already or Aliens.
did.
I mean, Aliens is more of an action, but yeah, they're all fantastic. So there's some movie recommendations. Other than that, I hope everyone's having or had a great Halloween, and hopefully this has made your 2020 a little bit better. Just watch movies, don't go
Maybe-
outside, it's dangerous.
Yeah, maybe you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre and it'll make your 2020 a little bit worse.
It'll make it just a little bit worse. So, I think that's about it. I don't have much else.
Yeah,
Is there
no,
anything that you're looking forward to at the moment?
I mean, I'm really looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077.
I know, and I snagged it the other day, man. I got the day one edition, so I've got all the other shit that comes with it. So,
You know, I mean, there's also a game coming out next year. It's called Shin Megami Tensei 5, and it's a Switch exclusive. Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 5. I'm genuinely thinking of picking up a Switch just for it.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Because the other Shin Megami Tensei games that I played are so good.
yep.
Um,
Yeah, I love.
yeah.
You know me, I love Spidey. I had a dream
Yeah,
about the
Miles
Miles
Morales.
Morales. I had a dream about it last night. That's the last thing I remember before waking up and talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm thinking about it so much because Game Informer has been covering it and they've been giving us new snippets each day, and that people are finally like tying all of them together and making proper lengthy bits out of the opening of the game. And it just looks so good. We got to see
It's not
Jonah
right.
Jameson, like some cool stuff we've seen.
Is he played by J.K. Simmons?
No, it's their own one that was on the podcasts and stuff.
Oh yeah, he was in. Forgot about that.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he wasn't too bad. In,
Yeah,
for Spider-Man.
but yeah, we got to see him very briefly in a mall as a mall Santa. It's very, very good, and yeah, I can't wait for that. Don't know how I feel about the remaster just yet. We'll have to wait and see. But we did find out that it's not both of the Amazing Spider-Man suits that we're getting in these 3 new suits. It's just the first movie one, which I'm alright with. I prefer the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit to the second one. That's mostly because it's
yeah.
just more unique. But other than that, yes, Cyberpunk. Looking forward to that. PlayStation 5 very soon around the corner. I don't know if we want to do anything for that.
I think I heard that more pre-orders of PS5 are going to come available next week, so that's when I'm going to try, lucking mine
Awesome.
in.
Yeah, man, snag one if you can.
Because otherwise it'll be fucking 2021 before I'm able to get one.
Yeah, that'll be very cool. I've seen the UI, the layout for all that. That looks very nice. It looks basically like the PlayStation 4's, but very polished.
Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, it might just be because I've been using the PS4 for like 4 or 5 years. 5 years. Because I got
Yeah.
it end of 2014. Nearly 6 years. But yeah, just so used to this one, so just
Yeah.
looks different and rawr change.
Rawr. Yeah. But yes, I think that's about it. Is there anything else going on?
No,
or-
that's pretty much the long and short of it.
Alright, everyone. Well, thanks for coming. Hope your Halloween's good. And we will
Yeah.
see you next time when we talk about something else.
Yes.
Alright.
Not
See ya.
even we know what it will be yet, because there are like 3 different things we
That's right. We have so much going on. It could be crazy and hardcore, or it could be full of web slinging. We don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.